I'm getting cooked right now, dude. I should have put sunscreen on. What's going on, you filthy animals? Welcome to the Moto Arc. This is gonna be my new YouTube channel. I'll primarily be using it for motovlogging. So if you guys have any interest in what I'm up to, I'll talk about some of that here. I'll probably also use this channel for some product reviews down the road. This is just the start. Video number 1, and I appreciate you all for joining me here and taking in this beautiful scenery. Wow, it's so nice. It's a little warm today. Bike says 95. I think it's actually like, oh, my watch is not connected to my phone. I think it's actually like 85. It feels like 87, I think, was the weather today. But it's warm, man. It's freaking warm today. For as long back as I can remember, I always had an obsession with being on two wheels. Even though I was just very much late to riding my bicycle without training wheels. Funnily enough, I think I was like 6. I was the oldest one. I'm the oldest of my siblings, and I was the oldest to get off training wheels too. Which is, it's funny to look back at that now, but once I figured it out, I mean, I had a blast. Me and my childhood best friend, we used to ride our bicycles. Like, I would ride my bike across town. I lived on the far end of town. My buddy lived like pretty close to downtown. I would ride 4 miles one way to go to downtown, and we'd go hang out and eat pizza at our local pizzeria back in the good old days when, I don't know, being a kid, good times. My aunt and uncle, they had electric scooters, so when I was like 10 and we'd go to visit them, I would always be like, when are we going to Aunt and Uncle's? When are we going? I just want to go. And obviously all I wanted to do was ride that stinking electric scooter, man. That thing was so fun. My mom hated that thing because my brother wiped out and ended up under a goddamn trailer and like freaking scraped up all his junk and I don't know, can you swear? I'm sure you can swear on YouTube. Scraped up all his shit. He was like bleeding. I don't even remember how bad it was. Like I said, I was probably like 10. But yeah, ever since then, and then I wanted a motorcycle as soon as possible, but I knew my mom would never let me do it. But when I was in high school, I couldn't figure out what the hell I wanted to do with my life, so I decided to take a gap year, and I flew myself to Australia. I worked and traveled there for about a year. One of the things that I wanted to go to do there through that program was some farm work, which a lot of what they do is herd cattle on dirt bikes and stuff like that. So I was like, Mom, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta know how to ride. I'll be less likely to get injured if I already know how to ride when I get there. So there we go. That was a sure-in justification to me getting my very first motorcycle, the 1981 Honda CM400T. That was an inline twin cafe racer, and it was a piece of junk. It had like, I think it had like less than 1,000 miles on it, but it had been through the ringer, dude. I don't know, it must have just been like sitting and rotting. I don't know. That bike was great. It lasted me the whole summer before I left for Australia. And then like the very end before I left, I came home one day and my dad was like, dude, you stink like freaking gas. Did you spill gas on yourself? And I was like, no. And so we went out and looked at the motorcycle, and of course I looked at my right pant leg was like damp. I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even notice, like my leg was wet. The corner of the tank, it was so old, and it had a previous repair on it, and the repair failed, so the tank was just leaking on me. We tried a bunch of different stuff to try to repair that tank, and nothing worked out. But yeah, basically, once I got back from Australia, which I never got to do my cattle herding on a dirt bike, which was big sad. Yeah, I saved up some money and I bought my next bike, which was a 2006 Cotty Monster 620. That bike was great. That was my first like faster bike. After that, I got a 2005 Kawasaki ZX6R. That was the 636, and I loved all my bikes, honestly. They all had their own like little things that I didn't like about them, but overall, like, and having a motorcycle is better than having no motorcycle. I'll explain before I continue the way that I afforded to do this every year, because I was getting a new motorcycle every year. I'd buy it in the winter, because I lived in New England. You buy in the winter, no one's trying to get a motorcycle, so anyone who needs extra cash is trying to get rid of a bike, they're selling them for pretty cheap. So I'll always buy in the winter. I'll fix it up until the spring. Sometimes I'd ride in the winter. It depends on how cold it was. I would buy in the winter and then sell it before the end of the season, so I'd miss out on like the last, like the good fall riding, because that's really when you want to sell it. When, oh look, that road was foliage road. I don't know if anyone saw that, but I was just about to say, when the foliage is real pretty up there in the fall time. Look at this bird. It's a great way to entice people into buying a motorcycle, because they want to get out. And the best place up there that I ever hit was the King of Angus up in New Hampshire. I'm sure, I can only imagine what fall's going to be like here, especially like riding down this road and like getting to look back up that mountain back there. It's going to be nuts. There's going to be a lot of leaf change in color. It's going to be amazing. The last bike that I had before I switched to hopefully my affiliate brand one day was a 2002 Yamaha R1, which that thing was a monster. I had no business being on an R1 back then, man. It was fun. I had so much fun on that thing. All my bikes. I had that bike for a year, and that following December, maybe I had that bike 2 years. I might have had it too. Anyway, that's my last bike I had before I made the brilliant decision to join the Marine Corps, which I recently finished my 5-year contract, and I get to be a civilian and grow out my hair and grow out my beard, like all those memes you see on the internet. For those of you who know me and have seen me recently, you know that meme is not me. Yeah, 5 years in the Marine Corps. I couldn't get a bike until I hit the fleet, unfortunately, because of schoolhouse rules, and like, I don't know, they don't want to kill yourself on it, I guess. Because a lot of those guys that are enlisting, which like I did, I mean, I enlisted at 22. A lot of guys are like 18, 19. So I was older, which sucked because I missed out on a lot of like privileges that I should have had as a 22, 23-year-old. So when I got to the fleet, I had a deployment like straight away, pretty much like first 6 months. I wanted to get a new bike because I had money to get a new bike. I'd saved up quite a bit over the years. And I wanted to spoil myself, and I had guaranteed income, and I was living in the barracks, so why the hell wouldn't I get a brand new motorcycle? All the other guys wanted to get Mustangs at 25% interest. I got my 2022 Indian FTR 1200S. Then the FTR I had for 3 years, and I just recently traded up to my current steed, which I can do a walk around. I'll have to do a review on this eventually, because this bike is awesome. 2019 Indian Chieftain Dark Horse, and the beautiful white smoke, which you might be able to see a little bit of that metallic flake in there. If not, I'll have to get a better shot with some other camera, or while I'm not in the middle of riding the motorcycle. And this thing is awesome. It's an interesting story with this motorcycle, because like I said, it's used. It's had one owner, and the guy drove it up from Florida. It was always garage kept, and I mean, it's been very well maintained. Records with everything. My local Indian dealership did all the like basic service requirements, like oil change and belt tension, all that. They put a new battery in it, all that good stuff. Interesting story with this, I had originally wanted to get, I was looking at a new motorcycle, and surprising. I wanted to get a 2024 Challenger, which is a little bit bigger than this bike, still a bagger. It's a liquid-cooled 108, cubic inch motor, I think, that puts out like 120 horsepower, so it's more horsepower. But it doesn't sound like that. I test rode it. It was beautiful, amazing. I was so comfortable. My time in the Marine Corps, I definitely used, abused, and yeah, my back, knees, hips, I mean, everything's just sore now. So I knew I was gonna get a bagger for my next bike. I thought I wanted the Challenger. I was looking around for some used Challengers. I couldn't find any. I waited like a month trying to private sell my FTR. No one's really biting because it's a terrible economy, thanks Biden. So no one's trying to buy my nice FTR because it's expensive. I got some inquiries about that motorcycle, and they're all like, why is it so expensive? I'm like, because it's not a base model, dude. They're like, oh, I've seen a bunch for like 10 grand. I'm like, okay, show me one. And they send me a 22 FTR base model. I'm like, dude, it doesn't have the ride command with the touch screen. It doesn't have like so many different features. I don't even think it has lean sensitive ABS. I don't even know if it has ABS at all. But there's a 1600 Akrapovic exhaust system. Anyways, people were just trying to lowball me because they didn't know what they were looking at, which is fine. I can't blame ignorance. Ignorance is bliss and whatnot. But I waited some time. I went back onto my local dealership's website, Roadkill, and I perused around. I'd seen the Chieftain. I kind of liked the look of it, but I wasn't super sold. I saw this bike. It's 2019, like I said, and I was like, okay, I could pop by, give it a test ride. I'll bring my FTR there so they can appraise it and they can figure out what they want to give me for it. So I did. I went down a few weeks back, and sure enough, I brought the FTR. I took this thing out for a spin, and I absolutely frickin' loved it. So smooth. I can still like get into these corners pretty good. I mean, I'm not going crazy fast, but I'm kind of over going crazy fast at this point. I was listening to it. The exhaust sounds a little different from the first time I rode it because I made some much needed modifications. We can talk about that another time. This thing was sitting next to a brand new 2024 White Smoke Chieftain, and I started looking at it a little closer when I came back to seal the deal the next day. And I kind of was noticing, like, I knew the exhaust wasn't stock. I knew it had the Indian Performance Stage 1 air cleaner on it, the donut or whatever. I can show you guys when I do a review or a walk around. I started looking at it a little more, and I'm noticing all these things. It's got the highway bars for the crash bars for the bags, a bunch of stuff that you just don't have stock. So I mean, I thought that was great. I'm like, okay, cool. This thing's got an exhaust already. It sounds pretty good. It's got an intake. All this other stuff. It's like thousands of dollars of add-ons. And little did I know, my sales guy there, he came up to me when I got there the next day, and he was like, hey, so I've got all the stuff here, and I forgot to tell you about this. There's this paperwork was sitting in one of the saddlebags. I think you might be interested to see what's on it. I was like, okay. He handed it to me, and I looked at it. It's an Indian accessory, like installation instructions, and it's for the Stage 2 cams for the Chieftain. So I didn't even know when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this bike, that it's Stage 2 tuned with cams, exhaust, intake, all the accessories. And I was like, I'm even more sold than I was before. This is insane, dude. So I had to buy it. Had to. They almost sold my FTR the day I traded it in, too. There's a guy test riding new ones. I was like, dude, you should buy mine. It's freaking great. Yeah, that's kind of the story of how I ended up on this motorcycle. This is iteration 8 or whatever of my motorcycles, and I'm I'm over a decade in now of riding, and goodness gracious, I could never look back. I bought this Insta360 X4, which is their newest 360 action camera, and it's absolutely insane. It's so crazy. It shoots 8K 360 video I'm not a huge camera guy. I basically did enough research to pick my action camera for this specific purpose. I definitely had some issues getting my mic to work. That was mostly user error. I think we're good now. And I wanted to get the X4 first, so that way I could shoot all the different crazy shots you can shoot with 360 cameras. But I can also still chin mount it like it is now, shoot single lens 4K. For the microphone, I'm using a Purple Panda, which for anyone familiar is about the cheapest quality microphone you could probably get. Used a lot by various individuals across the YouTube community. Very popular, but only $30. Some cruise control. Pop this. Look at this, dude. Like, what bike has automatic freaking windscreens, dude? So that's kind of my camera mic setup. Purple Panda with the X4. Various different mounting setups. I've mounted to my handlebars. I've mounted to my sissy bar. I'm obviously mounted to my helmet right now. And I've shot a lot of cool different shots. I'm excited to try some other ones. Maybe some low front, some high front shots. It's going to be cool. I really hope to bring some enjoyable content visually and hopefully also audio too. So yeah, first things first for me, I gotta fix this. This is, I'm sure you guys have seen this just bouncing around here. This is it's a phone compartment, so my phone can plug in there. It's kind of like Apple CarPlay, I guess. My music plays through the USB and all that. And this is the one thing I've got a complaint so far. It's just cheap plastic on that latch that keeps that compartment shut. It broke yesterday. Cut to that clip of me figuring out that it's broken. So it broke. I contacted Indian. I'm gonna see if I can. It's like a little plastic thing. I'm gonna see if I can get a replacement, and if not, then I'm just gonna put some Velcro tabs there and a little pull tab. So when it closes, I can just push on it. It'll stay Velcroed shut, and then I can just pull on the pull tab and it'll pop open. I'm not in there while I'm riding, so it doesn't really matter that much. I guess we'll kind of talk about how I ended up here. I recently separated from the Marine Corps, honorably, of course. I'm a good boy. I was just over it, man. It's with the way that... I'm not going to get into it right now, not on the first episode. But yeah, I had to get out. I needed to take care of myself first. I think this is going to be part of what's going to help me with that. This is going to be a nice creative outlet for me. I had started a Instagram page. I was on it for like 2 weeks or so for my dog, and I put some stuff up. I put some reels up while I was doing his training and stuff, and I just got busy and kind of fell off. But I really enjoyed the process of like editing and making his videos for his Instagram page. So I was like, why don't I just start motovlogging? I've wanted to do it forever. I basically grew up on motovloggers, like Cycle Cruiser, Chase on Two Wheels. Like, I've been watching these guys for years now, and I've always wanted to do it. So it's like, you know, there's no better time than now. I'm taking a career break. I'm a aviation mechanic by trade. I decided to take a break from that. I'm working part-time from home, which gives me a lot of time to train my puppy. And nice stop sign, bro. Anyways, now you made me lose my train of thought, you stinking donkey. What was I saying? Oh, the process of making videos. I just enjoyed it. It was kind of therapeutic, man. I kind of liked figuring out what looks good, what looks bad, and yeah. So I said, screw it. I spent all the money to get my camera set up and mic set up, and now I'm out here doing it. My goal is to just stay consistent and have fun with it. And I think if I keep doing it, I don't know. I think perseverance is probably one of the most important things in life. Just figure out what makes you happy, stick with it, man. And that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out with my life now. So I'm on a career break. Got a little Harley. Little Harley. Look at that thing. That's so tiny, dude. A little slingshot action, huh? I've never ridden one of those. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I should see if Indian will let me test ride one of those. Which, actually, we're gonna pass them right now. So here is State Line Motorsports, baby. All the Indian motorcycles and everything else. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's about all for today. Thank you for joining me with the very first episode on the Moto Arc. It's been an idea in the back of my brain for a long time. I'm glad I finally am doing it, and I just really appreciate those of you guys tuning in to listen to me ramble about random crap for unknown amount of time. Oh, we're stopping. I've never stopped this late before. Anyways, if you could and would, please leave a like. If you got something to say, head down to that comment section. Let me know. Do I suck? Should I talk about something in particular? I could probably do some crazy stories. Oh, I could do a lot, honestly. It's maybe too much. Once again, thank you for joining me. Until next time, peace. I don't know why this... Jesus Christ, what are you doing? Oh, I got a little Porsche behind me. Little Porsche. The Porsche and 911, the bang bang and skeet skeet. We talked about my motorcycle pedigree, a little bit about me. What the hell?